First of all, if we start, if you could just introduce yourself, tell us where you're from and what your game is.
Yeah, I'm Ville Kivisto, CEO and co-founder and tech programmer at Mindfield Games. We're based in Helsinki, Finland, and the company was founded in 2013, and our goal is to make the best VR games that you can have.
So your game is called POLLEN VR?
It's Pollen. It's Pollen.
Just Pollen,
yeah.
Okay. So tell us a little bit about the premise of the game. What is Pollen?
Pollen is a game about well, it's a Saturnian moon titan, and there has been a work-related accident, and the player is the lucky one to replace the missing person. And it's the job interview where the game starts, and later on player gets onto the titan, and that's where the story starts.
So it's a sort of exploration and puzzle type game?
Yeah.
And you come at it from a first person perspective and you explore this space station to try and find out what's going on?
Yes, exactly. So it's heavily inspired by games like Gone Home and The Dig, movies like 2001 Space Odyssey and Original Solaris.
When I was looking at the game and looking into it, it had a real feel that reminded me a lot of Alien Isolation, that kind of isolated feel in space, very much of the kind of alien type style as well, sort of futuristic but retro at the same time. Was that something you were going for?
In a way it was partially accidental, but yeah, we wanted to have like, you know, quite unique visuals and have a defining style in the world. And most of the game that you've seen is quite clean, but there is something completely different, and it's definitely not clean all the time.
All right, so the story, there's not a huge amount out there about the story of the game. Can you give us any little tidbits about what sort of thing we can expect?
Yeah, well, it's like the missing person and you know, fighting about what has happened, but it's quite difficult to tell much more because we want the player to really experience the story fully by playing the game.
Are there other characters or NPCs, or is it just going to be you and the environment?
Player isn't alone in the environment.
Right, okay. And so I noticed that the game is built on the Unity engine.
Yeah.
A lot of indie games are these days. What made you go with the Unity engine?
Well, we had experience working with Unity before. We knew that we can do the game with the engine, and you know, we really like how we've been able to, you know, get it up and running so quickly, and we're actually really proud what we've been able to do, like visually and you know, game wise, and so it was really quite easy option for us.
How long has the game been in development?
A bit over 2 years now. Okay. And it will be released in Q1 next year, so it will be like 2.5 year project.
All right, and are you releasing just for PC, or are there consoles in mind?
Initially for PC, with support for all the major VR headsets, and later on PS4 with support for PlayStation VR.
All right. And how important do you think VR is going to be for the experience? Is the VR...
Definitely, of course, because it's what VR headsets do. They just make everything much more immersive and actually put the player in the center of the action and happening.
So will the actual game experience be more or less the same on the VR versus the normal? Will the core game be the same, or will it be changing?
Yes, it's the same game and can be fully played without VR headset, but well, VR headsets just enhance the experience much more.
Okay, so what's it been like working with the virtual reality tech? Because that's kind of like the cutting edge at the moment, so it must be quite exciting.
Yeah, of course, it's because, you know, you get to, you know, just experience what you've done in there, actually being in there. And of course there are lots of obstacles that you have to learn how to overcome them, you know, design-wise. There are hundreds of issues you need to take care of. And
yeah, one of the things I saw on your website is that you said that rotational stairs should never be done in VR.
Yeah.
There must be a story behind that. What's that all about?
Yeah, well, it's like we had test players who were running up and down our rotational stairs, and after that, well, everyone was like, well, I'm feeling a bit nauseous, and well, try to do that in real life. But you know, when you're in VR, you really don't get that, you know, feeling that you shouldn't be doing this.
Obviously that seems like a pretty good example of one of the limitations of VR. Have there been any other challenges with working with VR technology?
Of course, getting the game up and running there, 90 hertz, and it's just, there are so many small design things that you need to take care of. Starting from how your character should like move forward, accelerate, and everything.
Okay, and if I was to give you the opportunity to sort of say to our listeners why they should buy your game, what's special about your game, and why should they pick it up when it comes out?
Well, it's the most immersive first-person experience that the players can have when they have their VR headsets. And if you don't have a VR headset, then it's just a really great game on its own.
All right, and I'm presuming that the spec requirements for this are going to be quite high. Do you have any idea what those are likely to be yet?
Well, it will be playable with Oculus recommended specifications.
Fair enough.
But naturally, if you don't have a VR headset, because we need to get it to run on high frame rates with Oculus, it's actually, you can scale down the graphics options quite low, so that you can actually run it with a mid-range gaming PC.
All right, well, thank you very much for taking the time to speak to us, and I hope the rest of the EGX weekend goes well.